Welcome to the Vegan Squad Health and Fitness Summit. I am John Thomas, aka the Bodybuilding Vegan, and I am so glad you are here. We have so much information. Welcome to the Vegan Squad Health and Fitness, and I'm so excited for all that you're about to get to learn. Welcome to the Vegan Squad Health and Fitness Summit. I am John Thomas, aka the Bodybuilding Vegan, and I am so glad you are here. We have so much information, knowledge, experience to share with you, and I'm so excited for all that you're about to get to learn. If you need anything else, reach out to me or any of your Vegan Squad coaches. We're here to support you on your journey to becoming the best you can be with your health and fitness. We'll see you inside.
Hi guys, welcome. While we're waiting for people to hop on, I'll start with a short introduction. So if we haven't met or connected yet, I'm Melissa. I'm a subconscious and somatic coach, so I work with the Vegan Squad community as well as one-on-one clients to do exactly what we're talking about today, aligning our habits with the person we're becoming. So I know I'll wait until more people join to really get into this, but I'm just so passionate about it because it's one thing to start goals, and I know this time of year is a big one for this with the new year coming. Start off strong, fall off track, then start beating ourselves up. So today is all about breaking this habit, this cycle, this pattern, and actually feeling good along the way of enjoying our goals, since that's where we spend the majority of our life, right? Before we get started, I always like to kick off with a grounding exercise. So regardless of what we were doing before this or what we have going on after this, I feel this is a really nice way to drop in and signal to our bodies that it's time to be present. So this is a practice called orienting. If you've been on a call with me before, you've probably done this. If you're new to this, that's okay too. It's a really short, simple practice you can incorporate into your days whenever you need to feel a little bit more grounded and you only have a couple minutes. So to start off, we're going to turn our attention just in front of us. So if you're in your room, just letting your gaze shift forward. And you can just let your eyes wander as they'd like, seeing any objects in front of you, any walls or spaces. And you can move your gaze around as much or as little as you'd like. Maybe your eyes want to focus on one specific object or color. There's no right or wrong way to do this. You're just letting your body be in your space. And a big part of orienting is staying connected to our breath, signaling to your body that it's time to be present. It's safe to be in this space. So next, we're going to shift our gaze to the left side of our room. Again, just letting your eyes wander if they'd like. Land on whatever they'd like to land on. Noticing any colors, textures, patterns. And remembering to breathe nice and deeply here. And next, shifting your gaze to the right side. Just letting your eyes really take in your space. And even if this is a space you're quite familiar with, or if you were on the call with me last night doing this practice, I just want to remind you that there's never been this exact day at this exact time. You can notice the way the light is hitting, any shadows. Just staying connected to your breath as your eyes move or land. And lastly, we're going to shift our gaze behind us to the back of the room. Just looking around, soaking in your space, signaling to your system that there are no threats behind you, that it's safe to be here in this present moment together. And just taking your time as you shift your gaze back to the front of the room. There's no rush. And after we do any grounding exercise, it's important to just rest. Take a moment to let it integrate. Just notice how your body's feeling. If you're feeling activated or tense, if you're feeling even just a little bit more present, if your breath is a little bit deeper. So just give yourself credit for going through this grounding exercise. A lot of us high achievers, goal-oriented people are always on the go, so it's really important to take these small moments, these pockets of presence. So good job, you guys. And for those of you joining, we're gonna kick off now talking about aligning our habits with the person we're becoming. So as we're getting started, I'd like you guys to share one of your goals with me in the chat so I know kind of what's at the forefront of your mind. This can be health and fitness related. It could be mental health or self-care related, career, family, personal, relationship, whatever is top of mind for you today. Share one goal that you're working on or ready to start working on with me. Let's see who's working on similar things. One of my big goals right now is building more muscle. And you can keep this short. You can say, I want to, and just share a couple of words about what you're working on or want to work on. Maya's current goal is paying off debt for student loans. Paid her credit card off to $0 yesterday. Congrats, Maya. Making those steps toward that goal. That's huge. I know student loans are a big one for a lot of people. Oh, yeah, financial goals are a good one to keep in mind. Benita's goal is building muscle and starting a recipe page. I love that. I know you shared some great recipes in our community before, so I'm proud of you for working toward that. Ashley's goal is to be more productive, less scared and stressed, and get built too. I like all of those goals, Ashley. Susanna is getting a job as a PE and arts teacher for next year. Ooh, congrats, Susanna. That's exciting. Cool. Lots of good career, personal, health-related goals. So good. Good to keep these goals in mind today. And next question is, how capable do you feel about reaching your goal? So on a scale of 1 to 10, just drop a number in the chat. 10 being I'm 100% confident I'll achieve this goal. 1 being I'm 100% confident I won't achieve this goal. No judgment here, no overthinking, just whatever number comes up when you think about yourself achieving your goal. And it could be the goal you shared or any of your goals in general, how confident and capable you feel about reaching your goals. And I see Dustin shared his goal, working on productivity and mindset when it comes to himself and also toward food. I love the personal and health goals, Dustin. I'm seeing the numbers drop in, 10s from Susanna and Dustin. Beautiful, love the confidence. Some middle ground, 7, 8, 7.5. That's great too. David's goal is niching down with his yoga services to women between 60 and 80. He feels that his approach would truly benefit their health and mobility. Ooh, I love that, David. I know that clarity with your niche was a big goal for you, so I'm excited for you. In general, Susanna feels like a 7. Okay, yeah, so for different goals, we might feel different levels of confidence or capability. That's perfectly normal and makes sense too. Heidi says she feels like a 10 with this group. I love that. And it's true, being in a like-minded, supportive community with accountability really does make achieving goals feel so much easier and more realistic and more possible, especially seeing people at all different levels, and kind of getting a feel for their journey, seeing things they've accomplished is super motivating and inspiring. So thank you guys for sharing. I want to kick off with saying I'm sure most of us know the feeling of setting a new goal, feeling really excited at first, going all in and building momentum. As I mentioned before, this is really big around the new year. But then inevitably, it seems as we get going, that motivation fades and then it feels harder to show up and stick to the things that once felt easy for us or that we felt more excited about, even though they really matter to you. So I've experienced this in pretty much all areas: fitness, nutrition, personal goals. I'm sure a lot of us here have been there as well. I just want to first of all say there's nothing wrong with you if you start off strong with that motivation and then it fades. That's actually very normal. So I want to talk about what's going on a physiological level when that happens. And when we're feeling that initial excitement, it's because dopamine is spiking. So it quite literally is a new goal high that we're feeling. But the dopamine fades fast if we don't have consistent cues to reinforce it. So skipping ahead a little bit to when we do achieve a goal, something we've been working toward for a while, we feel that dopamine, that delayed gratification again, which almost feels even stronger because we have been putting in the work so consistently. It really is one of the most rewarding feelings. I know I felt this the first time I stepped off a bodybuilding stage. It really was like an incredible high. I've heard of runners' highs, people who run marathons or half marathons, or really just any goal, even on a smaller scale, getting to the gym when you really didn't want to go and then leaving feeling so much better. It's that dopamine boost of I showed up for myself and did what I said I wanted to do. And that feels really good. But where we live most of our life is not the starting the goal or the achieving the goal. It's all the day-to-day moments in between. So how can we experience that dopamine? How can we keep the motivation going when there's no motivation? So that's what we're going to talk about today. One of the best and easiest ways to do this is to celebrate our small wins along the way, no matter how tiny they seem, no matter if it's something you've done every day. It's really important to take the time to pause and acknowledge yourself. We do this a lot in our community, but something I also say is it's not only important to let the coaches or the community or people in your life celebrate you. That's great, and we're happy to do so. But what's even more important is you being able to feel into the energy of those emotions, that sense of accomplishment, that gratitude for yourself, for showing up, for doing the things, the habits that matter to you. This really boosts self-esteem and confidence. It creates evidence that you are the type of person who does what you say you're going to do. And this is especially important when it comes to setting new goals or stepping out of our comfort zone, doing things that are unfamiliar to us. Because what can tend to happen when we're setting new goals is we break it down into the baby steps or habits that are going to get us toward that goal. And we realize there's a lot of different things that go into it. So if someone's goal is to compete in a bodybuilding competition, there's a lot of different avenues toward that goal, right? The meal and nutrition component, the training component, the step component, the sleep, recovery, stress reduction component. And so we're not only working toward one goal, we're essentially working toward dozens of little goals in between. So moving back a few steps, it doesn't have to be that you want to compete in bodybuilding, but if you are just setting a new goal, whether it's fitness related or not, what tends to happen is when that initial dopamine spike, that excitement does fade, we can just start to feel overwhelmed by all the different things we have to pay attention to and focus on, that we have to pour our time and energy into. So instead of feeling overwhelmed and consumed by it, we want to make these habits sustainable for us. So a really good way to do that is taking inventory of where we're at right now, honestly, and without judgment. So just using the goal of competing in bodybuilding as an example, but again, this works for any goal. When we are thinking about that end goal, we want to think about the gap between where we are and what's going to get us there. So right now, if we're someone who doesn't work out a whole lot, we're just interested in starting to work out more. Maybe we move our body in other ways. We like yoga, we like walking, but we have a goal of competing, and that's awesome. There's nothing wrong with that. But we also want to be realistic about the timeline and the steps we're going to have to take to get there. So we want to do this in a way that's sustainable, that's not going to burn us out. So if we try to go from being someone who doesn't work out a lot, who doesn't track our food, who doesn't do all the little habits in between that are going to get us to the end goal, if we go 0 to 100, it's almost guaranteed that we're going to burn out once that dopamine does fade, and especially when life inevitably gets in the way. If we go through a hard season or a loss or a tragedy, we kind of just throw in the towel because we haven't really yet integrated this new identity of who we're becoming. So really important to, like I said, take an inventory of where we're at. How often am I doing the things I want and need to do to get me to where I want to be? And set little achievable, realistic goals before just diving into the schedule and habits that we eventually want to embody. So maybe right now you're working out 0 or 1 times a week, and ideally you'd like to work out 4 times a week. Instead of just starting off the bat with 4 times a week, let's start with nailing the 1 time a week. If you're doing 0 to 1, take a couple weeks and get there once a week and realize how good that feels and celebrate yourself for doing it. And then once that 1 becomes so easy, so second nature to you, move it up to 2 days a week. And again, you'll notice when this feels easier, when this becomes more integrated. You're not forcing yourself from a place of pressure. You're slowly upping the stakes as it becomes easier and more exciting and more desirable. And you're celebrating yourself along the way for making those decisions and doing those things. So when we are working toward goals, especially new goals, another hormone that's present, this is a big one, and that's cortisol. So this is usually known as the stress hormone. So a lot of us want nothing to do with it. But actually cortisol is healthy in small doses because cortisol gives us that extra little boost of motivation, the energy, the mobility to do the things that we want to do. It helps us get through a hard workout or get a run done or whatever other physical goal we want to do. And so it's good to have some cortisol present, but cortisol does continue to rise when we're under pressure. So going back to what we were just talking about before, if we do go 0 to 100, trying to step into this new identity before it feels integrated and before it feels second nature to us, we're doing it from the energy and place of pressure. So that cortisol just keeps rising. This underneath the surface is telling our bodies, our nervous systems, and ourselves that these new habits aren't safe, they're not sustainable, because you're feeling so much pressure, you're not able to catch a break. So what's inevitably going to happen is we're going to burn out, because when cortisol and stress continue to rise without any of those pauses or letting our nervous system come into regulation, that's just not sustainable. So again, just reinforcing the importance of moving at a pace that feels sustainable for you, and really truly celebrating yourself. And it doesn't have to be like treating yourself. I know a lot of people tend to reward themselves with food or doing something that's ultimately sabotaging our goals. It's not about the how we're celebrating ourselves. It's about feeling into the energy of self pride and satisfaction and acknowledgement and confidence for doing the things that we say we want to do and that matter to us. There's truly no better way to build sustainable confidence. Another big one, and this might seem kind of obvious when we're talking about setting goals, but make sure your goals are in alignment for you. And this example is coming to mind. You guys have probably seen this in movies where the parent says to the kid, but you're living your dream. And the kid says, no, Dad, I'm living your dream. And it's kind of that mic drop moment. So it's, again, sounds silly, but I literally got a master's degree in a field that I was not passionate about, that I didn't want to pursue. And a lot of us find ourselves just going through the motions, taking step after step of doing things just because we feel like we have to, whether that's to please someone else or we think it's going to make us feel better or more accomplished or more worthy. So just really check in with yourself and make sure the goal you're setting is something you actually want. And again, remembering that the majority of our life is not spent living in that goal accomplishment. It's spent in the everyday doing and being the person who shows up to take the steps to achieve that goal. So there definitely is truth to getting outside of our comfort zones and expanding our capacity to feel safe in newness and do things that are unfamiliar to us. So back to the gym example, if we're someone who wants to start training more, check in with yourself and just make sure, am I doing this because I think I need to go to the gym 4 to 5 times a week to be healthy and fit? So we're doing it from a place of obligation or dread? Or is what we're really after the feeling of being healthy and fit? Then maybe the way of getting there doesn't look like going to the gym 4 to 5 times a week from a place of dread. Maybe we do like strength training once or twice a week, but maybe we also love bike riding or yoga or doing some other type of movement that makes us feel good. So super important to check in with ourselves, not only with the goals themselves, but what's going to feel more enjoyable than not, more often than not, as we work toward those goals. And then another super important thing about goal achievement is research suggests that attaching feelings to goals leads to higher adherence. So this is called emotional anchoring. So going back to the beginning of this call, I asked you guys what is a goal you're working on or something that you're excited to start working on. So now in the chat, I'd like you to share 1 to 3 words. How do you want to feel in your everyday life? So this could be in regards to this goal that you shared or just in general. How do you want to feel? Do you want to feel at peace? Do you want to feel energized, confident, strong? When you picture the version of you who achieves your goals, how do they feel? So share that with me in the chat. A big one for me is feeling at peace. So that's why I always use that as an example. Ashley wants to feel safe, at peace, and free. Those are all really powerful. Thank you, Ashley. Yeah, safety is a big one too. That's why I'm so passionate about working with the nervous system and doing things at a pace that feels safe and sustainable rather than from a place of pressure or feeling like we're an imposter. And yeah, free is a big one too. We are the creators of our lives, and we have a lot of power of choice that we forget sometimes. So being able to prove that to ourselves in the decisions we're making is super powerful. How else do you guys want to feel? Could be with the goals you shared or just this coming year in general. Heidi wants to feel more in the moment. That's beautiful. More calm and strong. Love those, Heidi. Thank you. Dustin wants to feel more calm and peace, safe and strong. I love that combination. Kayla wants to feel more confident, strong, and capable. Beautiful. So a lot of overlap of safety, calm, peace, strength, confidence. Those are all really, really good, guys. And something we can do, again, since we live most of our lives in the day-to-day, is get in the habit of asking ourselves daily, what can I do to feel this today? So what can I do to feel at peace today? What can I do to feel confident today? And this might look different day to day. If we had a long day at work where there's just no way we're going to hit all the habits we would hit on a typical or perfect day. Instead of throwing in the towel, we can ask ourselves, what's one thing I can do to feel confident or proud of myself today? So maybe instead of just meeting 0 of our 5 goals, we make the decision to meet 1 or 2 of them. And more importantly, we're not beating ourselves up or feeling bad for not meeting those other 3 goals that day. We're feeling proud of and celebrating ourselves for choosing to do 1 to 2 things that we know are going to make us feel our desired feelings. So just recapping the big takeaways here, celebrating your micro wins, super important. Not only helps being in a community like this, but again, just getting in the habit of really acknowledging and celebrating yourself. And then emotional anchoring, so attaching those desired feelings you guys shared to your goal and prioritizing actually being in the energy of those feelings on a daily and weekly basis. And I couldn't talk about goal achievement without talking about another key player in our motivation and goal achievement, which is our subconscious mind. So about 95% of our self is accounted by our subconscious mind. So this means that the vast majority of our thoughts, behaviors, beliefs, and actions are driven by our subconscious mind. So only about 5 to 10% of those things come from our conscious mind. So this means we can be doing all the right things. We have all the perfect schedule and habits laid out, and we show up for them. But if we have a pattern of doing, again, what's super common, going all in when that dopamine is high, motivation is high, but then falling off track, if you're someone who runs into this cycle, and again, I've been there too, there's no judgment or shame. This is likely due to the memorized perceptions and emotions and stories we have about ourselves based on our past experiences and patterns of doing exactly that, simply because we haven't known or chosen differently for ourselves, and also out of fear, worrying, am I really the type of person who's capable of doing these things? And we almost talk ourselves out of things we want and are capable of before we give ourselves a chance. So another super important thing is being mindful of the language we're using about our goals. So at the beginning, I asked us what's a goal we want or something we're working toward, and I want us to reframe our goal statement. So if we're saying, I want to build muscle, this is one that I shared. Maybe we're saying, I want to lose weight, or I want to do XYZ. Instead of stating our goal as wanting, let's reframe our goal statements to an identity-based statement. This is so much more powerful because not only are we emotionally anchoring, we can incorporate that, but we're also stating from an identity level. So saying, I am someone who chooses to show up for myself in this way, or I am someone who makes decisions that make me feel strong, capable, confident, at peace. And then actually following through and proving to yourself, creating evidence that you are someone who does those things. So our actions, our words, our identity are all in coherence. That's truly how we make these shifts sustainable, both on a habit and identity level. So feel free to drop any questions if you guys have them. Otherwise, we're going to do a little journaling activity and then get into our meditation. So let me pull up the chat. I love doing these interactive journaling questions because I really get a feel for where you guys are at before we dive into the meditation, and I can make it more applicable for you. Use your language, plant those seeds in your subconscious. And again, it's just a cool way to see kind of who's going through similar things. It's a nice way to support each other. Ashley asked a question. Should we listen to and believe our dreams and nightmares? Are they trying to tell us something? This is a really good question, Ashley. I know I've heard a lot of mixed things on this topic, and I would also say it depends. So if we are going through a stressful season or difficult times, sometimes our subconscious will try to speak to us through dreams. So I've been in toxic relationships where I've had dreams about my ex-partner doing certain things or talking to certain people in inappropriate ways. And even though in real life I didn't have any physical evidence of it, ultimately my subconscious was trying to alert me to what my conscious mind wasn't yet aware of. So in cases like that, and it doesn't always have to be a negative thing, sometimes we can have really powerful, self-empowering dreams. On the other hand, we might maybe have a vision or dream come to us that feels really motivating and inspiring and brings a sense of fulfillment or purpose to us that we didn't quite consciously think of in our day-to-day life, but it's planting those seeds. So that's certainly possible. But then there's also the fact that our subconscious, making up 95% of our being, we soak in so many things that we don't even realize, whether it's from other people or scrolling on social media or TV or movies, that our conscious mind doesn't even pick up on a lot of it. So if we do have a dream or nightmare that doesn't quite resonate with us, it might not even be our own energy or thought. So I would just get in the habit of using your own discernment and ask yourself, is this dream or nightmare something that I need to pay attention to? Is it trying to tell me something? But I certainly wouldn't overthink it or put too much weight into it. Great question. All right. So I'm going to share our first interactive journaling question. This one's a two-parter. So you can drop your responses to this one in the chat. The question is, I'm releasing blank so I can make space for blank. And this can be related to the topic today of habits or goals. Maybe we're releasing a pattern or a behavior, making space for a new way of being or a new emotion or feeling we want to ground into. Whatever's coming up for you, just fill in the blank with a word or a couple words. Maya's releasing self-doubt to make space for expansion. Beautiful. Expansion is a powerful, powerful word. Susanna's releasing overthinking so she can make space for productivity. Love that. Yeah. And by reflecting like this, we are releasing overthinking because we're taking the time to acknowledge our thoughts and our feelings instead of just suppressing them or not taking the time to hear them. I mentioned this last night, and pretty much anytime you hear me talk about meditation or lead meditation, but the goal is not to quiet our minds, quite contrary to what a lot of meditation teachers will tell you, because ultimately that's just suppressing the parts of us that want to be heard and seen and acknowledged and integrated so we can feel whole. So I love that you are releasing overthinking by doing this work to acknowledge your thoughts and patterns. Dustin is releasing anxiety and negative past thinking patterns toward food and body image to make space for a more confident, healthy mind and person for myself. I love that, Dustin. And thank you for being really specific here. That paints a really clear picture for your subconscious that you can anchor into in our meditation today. Ashley is releasing annoyance so she can make space for peace. Easier said than done. Yeah, a lot of these shifts are easier said than done, and it can really be easy to write out, I am releasing this, but not feeling it. So that's why I integrate the subconscious piece in my coaching, and why we're not just talking about habits today, but why we're taking the time and space to drop into this meditative state and actually release some of this energy that we don't want to carry with us. Jesse's releasing fear to make space for abundance. I love that. That's really good and powerful, welcoming abundance into this new year. Thank you for sharing, Jesse. Heidi is releasing time each day to make space for myself. Ooh, yes, very, very, very important. If we don't schedule in self-care, for a lot of us goal-oriented people who stick to our schedules, then it just won't happen. And scheduling in that self-care, making time for it for ourselves is so important, and we're so worthy of it. David is releasing negative thoughts of the past version of myself. I love that, David. Yeah. And as you release those negative thoughts of that past version of you, what are you making space for? Who is this new version of David? And I know we've talked about this before in our sessions, but really anchoring into what you want to make space for. Miral, I hope I'm saying your name correctly, feel free to correct me, is using Netflix for meditation. Ooh, I didn't know that you could do that, but I like that. Whatever form of meditation works for you is great. There's walking meditations. I know Maya loves using flow arts. I have a friend who's really into arts and crafting. Whatever gets you into that flow state. Meditation doesn't have to look like what we're doing here today. It's just one of many ways to connect with ourselves, to really anchor in these desired feelings and check in with ourselves. So yeah, you guys are doing great being here, reflecting. Thank you all for sharing with me. Dustin said there's one I have been doing on my phone lately that is on the app called Open. Very cool. I haven't heard of that one. Oh, he said Nimai Delgado had it on his story once recently. Yeah, there's a lot of good apps out there like this now. So if you don't know where to start when it comes to meditation, the guided practices are a really helpful way to drop in. I like the app Insight Timer. There's also a lot of great ones on YouTube. If you're in our school community, Coach Ali and myself both have guided meditations and offer these live sessions from time to time. On our Tuesday calls, I always end with a grounding meditation. So our Tuesday group gets in the weekly habit of checking in with themselves, which It's super easy and a seamless way to integrate self-care into our routines. And Dustin shared the link to this app in the comments. Thank you, Dustin. So we did.
You have to go find on the App Store, but I just linked it from like the internet. So yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing, Dustin. Yeah, always open to seeing new resources like this. So I'll definitely check it out. So you guys got through the conscious portion of today's chat. Now we're going to drop into the subconscious portion. So I'm going to plug in my headphones so that you can hear me well with the microphone. This is a good time if you have headphones to get those on and just find a comfortable space to drop in. So if this is seated or lying down, whatever that looks like for you today is perfect. If you are driving or operating machinery, so you're doing cardio or something, please do not listen. Please stay safe. And just please double check that everyone is muted. Thank you. All right. So just letting yourself settle into your space now as we dive into this relaxing, grounding meditation to help us align our habits with the person we're becoming. So letting yourself drop into your space, feeling supported by your chair or bed or floor. Starting to connect with your breath. Taking a nice deep breath in together through our nose. And exhaling through the mouth. Taking some more nice deep breaths. Letting our pace soften and slow down as we take this time to just be here, taking this time for ourselves to breathe and to just be. And if it feels supportive today, you can begin to close down your eyes, staying connected to your breath here, and letting the muscles around your eyes relax and soften. And just imagining a nice golden light surrounding you, letting you feel supported, and letting you really drop into this space, allowing you to let go of any lingering tension or worries. Reminding yourself that this is your time for you, that your only job right now is to breathe and be. And just imagining this nice golden light filling the top of your head, releasing any tension from your scalp, letting your eyelids become even heavier, Feeling all the tiny facial muscles, just letting go. Letting your jaw loosen and release. Feeling this golden light fill your throat as you breathe in this fresh air. Allowing this light to travel down into your shoulders, your upper back, releasing any tightness or bracing here. Letting your arms be heavy. Feeling this golden light move down into your hands and fingers as you continue to breathe and let go and call in any energetic support you'd like here. Connecting to your desired feelings. Maybe imagine that as this golden light moves down into your heart and your chest, that on your next in-breath, you're breathing in what you'd like to anchor in here today. More peace, more calm, more confidence, abundance, and expansion. Feeling these beautiful feelings fill your body as this golden light moves down into your stomach. Maybe placing a hand on your belly, feeling it rise as you breathe in deeply and fall as you exhale any stagnant energy here. Letting this golden light move down into your legs, your hips, your glutes, your lower back, allowing the bottom half of your body to just release, surrendering, feeling supported by the surface beneath you as you welcome in this gentle support and light. Letting this light move down into your feet and toes. And imagining this light extending out of the soles of your feet and down into the earth. Feeling the support and connection. Reminding yourself that you are well resourced and taken care of by this beautiful earth. And now just being in this warm golden light, shifting our attention back to our mind, just checking in with our mind, allowing it to show up exactly as it is right here and right now. Noticing any thoughts, any distractions, just letting them be present without trying to push them aside or ignore them. Just welcoming all parts of you here. Remembering that your mind and your body are both on the same team. They just want to keep you safe. They want to help you create space for more of what you're calling in, creating space for who you are becoming as you get ready to step into this new year. And just thanking your mind for all that it does. Inviting your mind to gently let go now as you drop in just a little bit deeper into your own inner world. This beautiful space that exists just for you, filled with all parts of your past, your present, and your future. All versions of you who have shown up for you, who have taken care of you, the you who got yourself through difficult seasons, who carried heavy emotions, the you who has celebrated wins, who's laughed, who's cried, who's embraced loved ones, pets, who's created from a place of joy and passion. Just taking a moment to honor all versions of you here, to really feel gratitude for each and every moment that you got to simply be you. That no matter what life has thrown your way, you are still here today, still here showing up for yourself, still here on this self-growth journey as we continue to improve and embrace the version of us we want to be. It's also important to remind ourselves that we are worthy simply for being. We don't have to earn our worth through doing or proving or accomplishing. That our everyday life gets to be filled with these moments of peace and confidence and strength. At these moments where we spend the majority of our life in the day to day can be filled with as much or as little intention as we choose. So just taking a moment now to make an oath of compassion and promise to all these versions of you that you will continue to pour into your well-being, whatever that looks like for you. It doesn't have to look forceful. It doesn't have to result in burnout. It gets to be easeful and joyful and meaningful. Letting these past versions of you really feel and express how grateful they are for you, for your continued expansion, for all the love and compassion you give to the world. And just really feeling right now how good it feels to give this same love and compassion to yourself. Remembering that we have the power of choice to invite this love and compassion into our work, into our habits, into the decisions we make. So just taking a minute now to be in this golden light as you breathe in more of these positive feelings and reminders, as you commit to break the cycles that you're ready to break, as you choose to write the story about who you want to be through your small actions and reflections every single day. Feeling empowered as you bring this expansive energy back with you into your everyday life. Thanking yourself for taking this time and space for you. Letting these reminders sink into every cell of your being, into your mind. Remembering the power of your thoughts and feelings and actions. I'm going to count us up from 1 to 5, with each number feeling more awake and aware of your surroundings. 1, staying connected to your breath. 2, reminding this golden light to be with you as you need it. 3, anchoring into these feelings of compassion and confidence and peace. 4, feeling reconnected to your space, supported by the surface beneath you. And 5, slowly opening your eyes. Thank you guys for meditating with me, for taking this time for you. It really does matter and make a difference. It's always a pleasure to hold this space and to drop in together. If you have any questions about aligning your habits with the person you're becoming, feel free to reach out to me anytime. And I'm going to turn things over to our other coaches as we get ready for our next summit call.
Thank you, Melissa. That was amazing. Thank you so much. Your sessions are always really well needed and we love them.
You're welcome.
How's everyone doing today? Yeah? Hi, Alex. Oh, lots of stuff in the comments here. Everyone loves you, Melissa.
Well, thank you guys.
All right, everyone. It is the end of Melissa's chat here.
Hi guys, welcome. Just getting set up here. Happy Sunday. Great to see you guys here. Day 3 of the summit. I hope you guys are enjoying. Hi. Hi guys, welcome. Just getting set up here. Happy Sunday.
Doug, the floor is yours.